Okay.
Oh my god.
No yawning in the microphone.
Sorry. I saw Aether Drift.
Welcome to the MoxStars podcast. I am Menace, one of your hosts, and I'm here with Rampage.
What's going on, gents? So happy to be here. Happy in 2026. We made it.
Hey.
We always proclaim #1 podcast on the internet for Magic the Gathering and Dr. Pepper. And the tokens came in. The tokens are here. Thank you so much.
Yes, sickest tokens in the world. We also have on the show today, Annihilator.
What's up, guys?
Welcome to the Monster Truck Rally, everybody.
Yeah, brother.
Yeah, this is the #1 show on the internet for Magic the Gathering, Dr. Pepper, and the sickest tokens on planet Earth. We just got in the Monarch and Goblin tokens, so if you'd like some, we'll get those out in the mail for you in as soon as possible. It's the year 2026, and we haven't heard any. The mail system isn't still crumbling and dying, is it?
Yeah, always.
Oh, well, I had higher hopes for it. So as fast as it gets there, place your order. We'll get it out to you. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so by finding us on YouTube, where you can like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more notifications. 608 beautiful, wonderful subscribers. Thank you all so much for the support. You can also support us on pretty much any podcasting platform. You can find us and leave a 5-star review to help new listeners find the show. You can also support us on Patreon by becoming an official Pepperhead. For $3 a month, you can support the show and have your name turned Dr. Pepperhead on the Discord server. Jump in, join the community on the Discord server as well. There's a link in the description below where we are having our Wednesday webcam wizardry with Rampage. We have a new theme this week. What are we doing?
So we have we made our week a little longer. We're still in the art set. Week, just to get some people time over the holidays. You know, they don't have to work on decks. They can just be with their family.
Yeah, well, I have a cheat code for my deck, since my commander was illustrated by none other than Tyler Jacobson, the single greatest fantasy artist of all time. So Marith, Will of the Wild, and then I get to jam pack a ton of other Tyler Jacobson artworks in. Come on, that's cheating. Yeah. He makes
easy mode.
Yeah. Maybe you still have to follow color restrictions, right? That you can't just like throw a bunch of sick ass Tyler Jacobson artwork into your decks. So I did see in the Discord server that there are some pretty sweet like continuity, like with artists and stuff like that, like the Wavebreak Hippocamp. I can't remember who the artist is, but that and like Brianborn Cutthroat are the same artist. So you get some really cool like synergies actually with that artist. So yeah, awesome. Super sick stuff. If you are going to join us on Patreon, you get to join a wonderful community of Patreon supporters such as Gabe, Mac Oyen, definitely Jeremy, Mono Greg, Reven Lift, UWP Quirt, Will Rule, Poolboy Barry, maybe Anthony, Ryan G, and Adam. So yeah, hop on there, do the Wednesday webcam wizardry, redeem your pepper points that you earn just by playing games, for tokens, for in-game activities, for a myriad of other things. We have a list of the rewards for joining the Discord server on, I think there's a separate tab for the Wednesday webcam wizardry now, so you can jump on there. On today's show, we are reflecting, since it is 2026, 2025 has just come to its conclusion. We are going to reflect on the mechanics of 2025, whether we thought they were good, whether we thought they were bad. We're not going to really talk about the questionable decisions of Wizards of the Coast over the course of 2025. I think that could be a really long episode, but it is good to reflect on the game design. And then at the end of the show, we will be looking at the release schedule for 2026 and just touching base on and kind of just shedding a little bit of light and opinion on what the outlook for 2026 is. So let's jump right in 2025 started off with a bang with Ether Drift.
I'm picturing like the beginning of Mario Kart races where you like don't hold down the gas at the right time. So
You hold it the whole time.
yeah, but instead of getting the boost, you like do the that was the bang that Aether Drift gave us.
Yes,
is the farty little engine sputters.
If you were out in MagicCon Chicago, ran into the MoxStars and played some games with us, that MagicCon was completely Ether Drift focused, which was like could probably go down as one of the worst MagicCons of all time. It was like what are we celebrating? What are we here for?
Listen, man, we got to move this stuff.
Wizards was like, oh, we got
get that trucks full of max speed tokens.
Yes, they were throwing out packs. They were just like, here, take it.
I knew things were bad because at my LGS, there's a guy from Wizards who comes around. He's like, hey, complete a survey and scan this QR code and we'll give you free packs. And usually everybody's like, oh yeah, dude. And for like the past 6 months, still, it's been Aether Drift packs. And he's coming by the table. He's like, man, I'll just give them to you. And people are like,
yeah, don't even bother. We'll sign up. Well, you can have our information, but do not.
I'll give you my information if you leave me alone.
Yeah. So in Ether Drift, we got some really cool mechanics. It's hard to say these things without like laughing a little.
We got three. We got start your engines, which was tied to max speed. Once you started your engines and did that damage repeatedly, you got your max speed.
Contain your sighing.
Okay. Okay.
We got exhaust, one-time use mechanic, or the intent is for that.
Mm-hmm.
And we got battle. So starting off, start your engine. Once your engines have been started, you get a counter. Once that counter ticks up to 4, once per turn after dealing damage, you obtain max speed. With max speed, you got some benefit. Cards that said when you have max speed, this card gains effect.
Yeah, like there was Amonkhet Raceway, I think, is the one that you can give a creature haste. And then Muraganda Raceway turns into a Temple of the False God, essentially, right? So, man, start your engines. Really just the worst thing about this mechanic was that it's just a one-on-one. It's just a 1v1 mechanic that has it's an outside mini game. It sucked because you only do it once per turn. You couldn't proliferate it. You couldn't do anything with it. And then all of a sudden it's like, what benefit do I get of 4 turns of effort? The game's already over. Like, that's how fast the game is now in these 1v1 formats. So it really is a thing that just died.
Can you go back to the cards real quick?
Yeah.
Let me see. Go up. It's not even in the most played. Where's the goblin? The goblin with max speed.
Oh,
that is the best card with this mechanic. That's it. Howl Squad heavy card is a game changer for mono red decks. It's a game changer for goblin decks. Having that like typically an elf effect of like Anthem tap for that much mana, colored mana, is pretty nuts. And typically because he also has the Rabble Master type thing going on at 3 mana, you know, when he comes down, you're increasing your speed the turn he comes down. I am still bullish on this card. I think it's even now still undervalued. Red doesn't have stuff like this. Red has been playing stuff like Treasonous Ogre for 20 years because there isn't other options. This consistently gets me like 8 mana or so, and people leave it alone.
Even now, I think we're spending too much time on engines.
Sorry. I want to shout out the one card I like from the set.
I share that sentiment. I think start your engines in Commander. Good. You got a little more time to get it into effect. In 1v1 formats, as Mattis was saying, is a rough look. Start your engines also not something we can like do in the future. Like, you know, when are we going to get the next race card stuff?
Well, yeah, it's one of those things, and this is why it's awful. You can't even start your engine until you put a creature or a thing on the board that says start your engines.
Yes.
So it's like late game. It is so awful. It's so awful.
Slightly less awful, I think, is exhaust. We got a few less exhaust cards, but the ones that do it had pretty powerful effects. Milling your opponents, obviously loot in the command zone. You could focus your whole deck around it. I think there's some opportunity here, and I think exhaust is something we can and already have in Avatar revisit.
Yeah. I think the airbending from Avatar really gives exhaust new life, since you can airbend something, bring it back down, especially River Turn Monument, which has been a constructed format all-star. There were decks built around it almost immediately to mill your opponents out. It's still like a really good control build, a control shell to win the game. So yeah, exhaust is a mechanic that actually could possibly return. This is while it is car themed, right? The word is, but it's not necessarily this is something where I could see it returning in a Modern Horizons 4, them giving us a 1-drop that has exhaust, pay 3 mana, win the game.
I still keep thinking of exert, but exhaust is just exert on other things. So.
Yeah. And it's so funny because the Modern Horizons version would be the one that was good.
Yeah, you could actually play it. Yeah, it's something that isn't dependent on anything else. That's another reason why it's a good mechanic. It just is self-sufficient, does its own thing.
There's ways to break it. There's ways to get around the restrictions of it.
Yeah. And the last mechanic, I'm actually having a tough time finding it because I have to scroll so far to find a decent card with it.
Saddle.
You messed up. You sorted it by the cards that were the most popular. You're looking now for our last mechanic in Ether Drift, which was Mount.
There it is. Saddle.
Yeah. Well, saddling was in Outlaws, though.
Oh, was it? It was in Outlaws. Yeah. Hey, you're right. But it is returning here in Ether Drift because they thought that mounting animals would compete with cars. I just don't see that realistically being a thing unless you're saddling a cheetah.
If we're going to talk about the feasibility or realisticness of any of the contraptions depicted in this, I guess you could call it artwork. Okay. I think we might as well move on to the next set.
A few things about Ether Drift before we get out of here. There were some less than popular cards that never really got to see the spotlight because of the pace of release of certain things. Some things have made waves. Bright Glass Gearhulk is a bright spot in the set. Lumbering World Wagon is really good and constructed. And then the Gearhulks, Riptide Gearhulk, I thought was busted as hell, but never really saw play. And then Market Backwalker with the Sib-Sig Ceremony was also really good. Mm-hmm. And then Marauding Mako.
Molt Tender made a deck in.
Yes. Yeah. Molt Tender currently feeds a lot of decks at the moment with Insidious Roots. Yep. So there were really good things. Thunderous Velocipede, I really wanted to be something, but then they were like, this thing, Ouroboros? We'll get to that soon. All right.
So moving on to the next set. Yeah. We thank Ether Drift for its contributions. Thank you for Hazaret, Godseeker. I want to talk now about something that is strong and powerful, and probably the most new stuff we got came out of Tarkir Dragonstorm. We were given Mobilize, Omen. Beholding a dragon is only on 3 cards, but it is new. We can behold other things, I think, going forward.
Yep.
Harmonize, Renew, Flurry, things we've had in the past, but now they've kind of keyworded. So there's, again, more hope that we get that in the future. And last but not least, Endured. Yeah. Starting with Mobilize, I already know the answer. Any favorites with Mobilize?
Voice of Victory, surefire all-star of all time. This is, I think it's completely taken Grand Abolisher out of cEDH. Not completely, I shouldn't say that, but it has mostly, if you are struggling to find one or the other, most of the time you're going to go with Voice of Victory versus...
For good reason.
Yeah, you get bodies. It's a bigger booty. It's easier
to cast.
Yeah, and easier to cast. So yeah, Voice of Victory. This is, for a reason, one of the most popular cards of Dragonstorm. I'm actually surprised that Mistrise Village is more popular on the thing.
When you pulled this up sorted this way, I was shocked to see Mistrise Village this high. I mean, I understand it would definitely be like in the top 5 for sure, right? You know, because it's ubiquitous. It's a blue, your spell can't be countered land. Like it should be in every blue deck kind of. But like it's just shocking it's number 1 because Voice is literally in like most decks in Modern, most
decks in standard,
most cEDH,
and not even for the reasons we're talking about it. Mobilize, no,
it just happens to have Mobilize, really.
Yeah.
If you're like a pro Timna, sure, you can get that Mobilize effect. That can definitely help you out.
Yeah, it also helps that Mobilize it boosts the viability of the best deck in cEDH, which is Blue Farm. So yeah, this was an easy swap for that deck because it's like, oh yeah, I can actually draw 3 cards off of just Voice of Victory. Like if they don't have blockers.
3 more bodies for your Gaia's Cradle if you're not on Blue Farm. Like it just works.
Yes. Yeah. So there are a few other things with Mobilize that actually make it stronger than it should be by design. The fact that it spawns 2 tapped and attacking red warrior creature tokens. So like there are benefits there. It, like you said, increases your creature count. So Gaia's Cradle gets even better. Like Circle of Dreams Druid, same effect. And then you can also, which has been a really cool interaction that I've had recently, is Growing Rights of Itlamok. Yeah. It pushes you to reach the creature count that you need to get it to flip. So those creatures don't stick around, but that's also another benefit of the effect is that the creatures sacrifice themselves. So you get death triggers, you get all those things happen and are still seen by whatever's still remaining on the battlefield. So it's kind of nutty. You can also, I mean, when it first came out, there were people creating token copies or like of the tokens, which then stick around because the effect is only tied to the ones that were created by that effect. So yeah, Voice of Victory is obviously the best of Mobilize, but Mobilize itself was a deck on its own. It's like, it is great at swarming the field, even though you don't get to necessarily keep the creatures afterwards, but you can still gain a lot of benefit from that.
Yeah, I think the biggest downside for Mobilize is that they had to make it a 1/1 red warrior. Like it wasn't Mobilize elf token. It wasn't Mobilize.
Please no.
Warrior token.
Yeah,
Mobilize. No. So Mobilize means red warrior creature token.
Yeah,
so we have to explain.
So okay with that.
Hey, Najila loved that shit. Like,
yeah, let's not make a sackable instantly appearing combat elves, please. Yeah, just give me a break.
All right, Mobilize was awesome, but we did get a lot of mechanics from this set. We got a fix, what I believe is a fix to Adventures. Like Adventures will still probably come around at some point or another because it functions differently. But we got Omens, which this is a split card. The prime example is Meringue River Regent because it is just so heavily played. It's still heavily played in Omniscience builds in Constructed. But Omen for Meringue River Regent has Coil and Catch, which is a 3 and a blue instant that says draw 3 cards and discard a card. Then the reminder text, the Omen part of it, then shuffle this card into its owner's library. Where Adventures, the card would go into exile. Omens shuffle themselves in. So they go back into the deck. They prevent you from decking yourself, which is important in the Omniscience builds. And then, it just rocks. It can just recycle itself constantly.
As a guy who plays a lot of limited, this set was crazy. All Out Assault is an insane card. Also, these Omens, just unprecedented power in limited, really, honestly. The number of times I built a very strong deck and just got beat by somebody who was in 5-color, pulled every mid Omen and Dragon card they could and put it into a deck with a Dragonstorm Globe, they would win at tournament. They would go 3-0, 5-0, at a draft.
Yeah, it helps your tempo.
It is just a crazy effect to be able to repeat the same spells over and over again. And then at the end of it, be like, here's a big fatty flying dragon with like protection. It's crazy.
Or
really
removal.
Hope to see it used like they did. Adventures is a great point. I'd love to see it adapted to like that kind of a thing. But it seems, to exclusively be on dragons. So
yeah,
we'll see.
All right. Omen, awesome. Now, Rampage, I want to hear your argument for why this mechanic could continue, but they have Behold. Behold a dragon was exclusive to this set, but beholding.
So we didn't get a whole bunch. Omens, I think we got like 6 cards. Not enough. Behold a dragon had less. There was like less than 5. I thought 3. I don't know. I did this research a while ago.
I'm having trouble finding
There's not a lot. Behold the Dragon is very cool, but only it has a niche applicability, right? But there, in the way I kind of proposed that Mobilize could have been different, Behold the Dragon can definitely be different. You can behold an elf, you can behold an ally, and should you do that, there's benefit. So I think just the ability to copy and paste it on a thing. I mean, we kind of already have it, right? When this enters, if you control thing, you get benefit. Yeah. This is kind of putting a title to that. But Behold, I think, gives it some more fun, some more flavor.
Yeah, this is it is a mechanic that it widens the scope of a few other effects that are already existing in Magic, like this land enters tapped unless you reveal an elf from your hand or something like that. But Behold now says, like, if you control an elf, it comes, theoretically, if you control an elf, this would enter untapped, or if you reveal one. So combines both of those restrictions into one.
I think that's the most likely scenario that we see this used next is dual lands that say Behold tribal. It'd be cool if they did that.
Kindred.
Oh,
watch it. Kindred.
Get us demonetized. I think they could have.
I don't think. Okay.
I think they could have gone with it more, like Mox Jasper.
Yes.
Tap. And 1 mana of any color, activate only if you behold a dragon. I don't know exactly all the mechanics behind behold a dragon.
Or when it enters, like sort of like Mox Diamond is
it would
like
be part of the activation because it'd be like tap behold then do the thing.
Or no, like when it enters behold, otherwise sacrifice it.
Oh, ooh, like evoke.
Yeah, just like Mox Diamond, where Mox Diamond's like discard a land, otherwise sacrifice it.
Spicy. Menace, are you cooking in and outside of work? Look at you go.
Here's the thing. I designed some top speed or max speed commanders custom, and Gavin Verhey dismissed them. So I don't think I'm... I was really proud of them. And I think they made... like start your engines viable in Commander, but he didn't seem to like those. So... We're moving on.
How do you like Harmonize?
Whew.
Talk about probably the best in, for us, for Rampage and I, it's not the best mechanic, but I think in general for the world, it's the best mechanic that's come out of this set.
It has the most potential. It's got the most potential energy behind it. This is a mechanic that now that it exists, and they've shown us immediately that they are willing to print a card like Nature's Rhythm, that the ceiling for like what a Modern Horizons version of Harmonize looks like could be dastardly. It could be like a new staple because the power of this card is absurd.
Yeah, and there's also Winter Night Dreams that has, also has Harmonize, which is a really great card draw spell. In like if you're playing bracket 3, like it's almost a staple. Like I would say, like it provides so much advantage by getting the same effect twice. This is the same deal where like Harmonize in Commander, the most powerful thing that you can do is usually use a card twice or like get some sort of like redundancy out of it, especially if it has card draw or for in this example pull something straight to the battlefield. So Harmonize kind of disgusting, and like honestly Nature's Rhythm, I thought like right now you can get a Nature's Rhythm for $3.
Yep.
which blows my mind since Finale of Devastation, like, yes, Finale of Devastation has a win con attached to it, but this is also a win con because oftentimes tooth and nail wins the game. This is a tooth and nail, like in a lot of cases.
Yeah, and in a lot of situations where you have like a board kind of flooded with little dudes, but you maybe don't have that much mana, which does happen, like a lot of token decks, does happen even in a lot of like elf builds. Yeah. Like where you just need the hoof or whatever it is. I mean, this does it. And then let's say you search for the hoof and they counter this nature's rhythm. Cool. Do it again.
Yeah.
Crazy to be able to basically retcon your creature tutor, which in a green deck that can afford this, they're gonna want to have another shot at the throne after they go for the full kill with the creature tutor.
I think that goes for any deck that has the same pull to something like flashback, right? We want our cards to have modality, so if they get milled or discarded, like they still work. If you're not utilizing to their max potential of using them twice, they still work in other instances. So Harmonize, I'm super excited to see.
Yeah, I think
it's a great set.
Yeah, this was a great set. I think that the hype behind it was really high. Like this was the highest grossing set of all time until the next set came out. But it's like nature or this harmonized mechanic, as we saw all the way throughout 2025, Wizards of the Coast has not been printing or like printing new cards with like flashback or anything like that. Like, yes, the mechanic obviously still exists, but they're trying to improve on the mechanics that already exist, which is why things like Discover exist. And like Discover exists because Cascade was outdated. They wanted a way to keep up with the speed of development and how the game has grown. So Harmonize is hopefully what I would predict to be your new flashback that helps you keep up with the pace of play and the pace of the game. So
yeah, this was just it was a return to form for Magic, which I know we're just running through this quick, but like even with the other abilities, Renew, Flurry, and Endure, these are abilities that, kind of like the other ones we've mentioned already, almost expand on things that were already there. Take a concept mostly from like the cons block previous, which obviously this is a bit of an allude to in a lot of ways. We've got like the wedge, dragons and same themes. I think that is kind of the theme of this whole set, right? Is like we're gonna expand on these ideas that were central to kind of when Magic really started to take off as a more popular game, and what got people really, really excited to play. Big flashy dragons, explosive turns, really powerful draw engines. Really, you can go really tall with some of these creatures, or you can go really wide with some of these Mardu and Jeskai builds. It did a lot of stuff that Magic players want to do, and that it was the first time in a while where I was sitting down at a pre-release and the other Magic players weren't like rolling their eyes at the product that they were about to play with. They were really excited, and I was really excited to play this set. I play a lot of this set. The cards in this set are going to be played for years.
Long time. Yeah.
Ugin is not going anywhere. Elspeth is not going anywhere. Voice of Victory is not going anywhere. These are the first like true to form staples that we've seen like come out in mass from a set in a while. I feel like for the past 3 years, it's been like 1 or 2 cards per set or one card with a mechanic that you're like, okay, this was boom.
Yeah. I think that initially, like when we were talking about Dragonstorm, we're talking about like every set that actually came out after, like subsequently, you see Dragonstorm, you see Final Fantasy, you see Edge of Eternities and stuff like that. And every time you see a new card that is the chase card for the set, it pushes the power level. But then when you realize that the game never broke and the that the world did not end, and you look back on these things like Tarkir Dragonstorm and you just go, yeah, these are fun. These are really fun in the current atmosphere of the game. These are a lot of fun. Like we talked about legendary decks last week. We talked about decks that existed in the mid 2010s and the late 2010s. These cards would obviously break those decks. Like the game has evolved and the game has changed. So it's good to reflect on these things and see like, yeah, no, I want to see these cards across the table for me.
Yeah. We've done nothing but hype this setup. I think rightfully so. It's been so cool, but we didn't spend time on it because we were rushing into Final Fantasy. Like there's all these niche elements of this I forgot about until we started looking into some of this older stuff. And it's like, nope, Final Fantasy.
Literally crazy how quick the turnaround was. It was we still have a couple more mechanics to talk about because there were a lot in this set, but it was a quick turnaround to Final Fantasy. But in the meantime, while we were waiting for Final Fantasy to come out in like the 2 weeks, we saw a new card sort of take over pretty much every constructed format that ever exists, and with a mechanic that proved to be a little too strong, and that is Corey Steel Cutter. With Flurry as a mechanic. Corey Steel Cutter, if you're unfamiliar, if you missed this or you haven't been playing that long, 1 in a red, artifact equipment, equipped creature gets +1/+1 and has trample and haste. We know that effect is super powerful. Look at Embercleave. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, create a 1/1 white monk creature token with prowess. You may attach the equipment to it, and then you can equip for 1 in a red. Oftentimes you never paid the equip cost. This was cast a Corey Steel Cutter and then cast 1-drop Ponder-esque card and then create a body, a 2/2 trample haste. And then everything you cast beyond that just makes the creature bigger because of the prowess. This was Wizards of the Coast's way of modernizing prowess, I think. Like that was kind of like their whole thing. They continued to support prowess even beyond this set. And Corey Steel Cutter, I'm guessing was just like they never tested this.
They definitely didn't test this. I think what they had intended design-wise this to be, if they thought about it at all, which they might not have, but if they thought about it at all, what they had intended this to be was a lower bar to entry Arclight Phoenix. A repeatable threat for Spellslinger decks that kind of is impervious to creature-based, spot removal effects, which, if you don't run a density of creatures is typically the drawback and why Arclight Phoenix is such a amazing deck because you only need to run the 4 creatures. But this is only 2 mana. You don't have to put it in the yard. You can cast it and it starts working immediately. And then every time you cantrip into some BS, this thing is back online. And every format can do that.
Yeah.
That was the problem, is that this immediately became one of those cards where banned standard because it broke standard for a while. Immediately just modern. It's like it's really good in Arclight. It's great in all of these other versions that of decks that are built around this, but it's also good in just like generic decks that run a lot of spells. Mm-hmm. It's crazy strong. And when you have a couple of these out and the rest of your deck is fluff, you're mashing face because it triggers on your opponent's turn too, which is just gnarly.
Flurry, really strong mechanic. Corey Steel Cutter, really powerful card. Glad to see it's gone in standard, but it is still wreaking havoc in other constructed formats. Doesn't do a lot in Commander, but that's okay. Endure is the final mechanic from Tarkir Dragonstorm. Now this is the mechanic where I believe this might be Rampage and I's favorite. It deals with +1/+1 counters, and the best card for the set with Endure was Warden of the Grove. 2 and a green, 3 mana or less, target for Teom. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It's a 2/2 to start, so essentially a 3/3 if it can make it to the end step. Whenever another non-token creature you control enters, it endures X, where X is the number of counters on this creature. So endure is the ability to put X +1/+1 counters on the creature that entered, or create an XX white spirit creature token equal to the endure. So you got to do you got to either go wide or go tall, which is were very powerful and constructed, but then you can abuse that when it comes down to things like commander. You can, and we all know that in a lot of sacrifice decks or even in a lot of Abzan decks, that just having an extra body and is just good stuff. Guy's Cradle. Hey, that's a card. So
Ouroboros light diet Ouroboros.
Yeah, and even strong with Ouroboros, because if you curve into it, you put an Ouroboros down after the Warden comes in. It's really good in Teom. It's really good in cEDH for that deck, just because it says endure X, where X is the number of counters. Teom usually gives it a vigilance counter, and then it gives itself a counter, and so then you get 2 +1/+1 counters when you endure. So pretty nutty card for that build particularly. Rampage.
Yep. Every creature you bring back has the 3 counters on it you need. Activate Tam again. Just run it back. You want to be doing your Tam activations on other people's turns anyway? Bring this on. This is awesome. Yeah.
Really great card. Now, the set has some other like all-stars. Like, obviously, we didn't talk about Ugin. Ugin doesn't have any like crazy new mechanics on it, but it is a very powerful card. Like Commander All-Stars like Dragonfire Blade, and then we have Teamer Battle Crier, which is a really great deck in Standard. Mox Jasper, one of the greatest cards of all time. We didn't touch on that, but Bader, Kin to All was another very, very popular commander because it dealt with toughness and had a huge payoff when you got to like a massive amount of toughness on the board. So a lot of really, really great cards. Yeah, Shiko was from this set, and if you guys haven't seen the Shiko the Freako list that I have put on my Mox field, check it out. It is one of the nastiest lists of all time in bracket 3. So
very fun.
Am I proud of it? Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. All right. So on to Final Fantasy. This deck, or this set, felt like it came out yesterday, but it came out in May. We had to experience an entire summer of VV. We had to experience an entire almost over half of a year with Final Fantasy so far. So let's get started. This was the highest grossing set of all time. This brought a plethora of players out of the woodwork. I didn't know there were that many Final Fantasy nerds out there, like just waiting for this to exist, for this set to exist, so that they could come out and get interested or start playing Magic. So
I heard a lot of feedback from folks that were like, oh yeah, Final Fantasy 3 was my shit, or Final Fantasy 9 was, I spent my entire college playing whatever.
Yeah.
So you only needed one of those, They didn't have to do every Final Fantasy to get into the Magic set. They were like, oh yeah, I spent all my time playing Final Fantasy 6 or...
Yeah, like 10 was huge for me. So like I played a lot of 10, and then it was just beneficial that I happened to exist in the age group that, they were targeting. They had so many cards from 10. It was amazing. But then they paid respects to every single Final Fantasy that existed. So that was also a great benefit to it. So if you were a fan of any of them at all, you got rewarded in some way. And there were a few new like mechanics for this as well. They brought adventures back. And
in terms of like gross size of the set and how impactful it was, we got very few new stuff. We had job select, the introduction of towns, and the tiered mechanic.
Yes.
That's it. Those appear on a couple of cards and nothing more. So it was a big set. It was very impactful. There's a lot of cards from this list making their way into decks all over the world. But that actual, the tiered, the town, and the job select, not a whole lot to write home about.
Yeah, well, and we also saw our first foray into like the saga creatures, right?
Sure.
Which was actually probably the most impactful like I would say out of everything. Yes, we got Traveling Chocobo. Yes, we got
Sephiroth.
Sephiroth. Yeah, we got all these like crazy mythics.
Vivi
breaks everything. It's a cEDH commander. It's everything to every deck. And what's it banned in now? Just standard. Okay, but I can't imagine it'll be long before it's banned in other things as well. But when we look at the most popular cards, we can see that obviously Commander reigns supreme because all of the crystals are at the top. So, cost reduction is huge. But talking mechanics, I do believe that like the enchantment creatures, the saga creatures and stuff like that, were some of my favorite from the set. To see them come in, obviously I'm a big fan of enchantments, but like Summon Fenrir, which is an uncommon 3 mana that allows you to search your library for a basic land when it enters, when that first counter is put on it. Just so good for a repeatable effect. Either remove a counter from it and then get that effect again the following turn. This thing can, if you can fudge around with it, can continue to remove counters, put one back on, go search for another land, put it back on, and you ramp every turn. You get so far ahead of the table. In the right builds, a lot of these saga creatures just kind of break parity. Primal Odin allows you to just punch someone and they die. They just lose the game. If you can get through. Summon Knights of Round.
That ends the game.
Yeah, Knights of Round really ends the game, especially if you're able to proliferate.
Well, it's indestructible. Once that comes down, it is truly the end of the game. I mean, the power, and it's 4 times that you get to make 8 power and toughness.
Yes.
That's, it's
6.
Indestructible.
6 power and
6.
toughness. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's out 2 and it's indestructible.
Yeah. So 9.
It's crazy. I think what you guys were just saying, off of that real quick, you look at Tifa, you look at Kefka, you look at Chocobos. It's kind of amazing to me, as someone who has very little, I basically no background with Final Fantasy. I've never played any of the games. A couple of my friends are really, really into it and, hit me up when this got spoiled and was like, do I need to start playing Magic? I bought collector's boosters, whatever. The first card that got spoiled from the set was Jumbo Cactar. And I immediately was like, I'm not interested in this. And my opinion on that was basically because that didn't really feel like a Magic card effect. It felt like something that they were doing to reinforce the flavor of the character for that card. When the rest of the set came out, and I've gotten to play a lot of limited of this set, play with a lot of these cards, I've been thoroughly impressed with how they were able to track an entire IP to really just Magic cards. A lot of times in these recent sets, even Magic sets, even Magic IP sets like Aether Drift, they don't feel like Magic cards. And like Fire Magic, all of these cards they are very much like quintessential color wheel effects that feel true to form for Magic. All of the dual colored cards, wedge colored cards do the things that color combo really wants. All the monocolored cards are really, really true to form. This is the first, I'd say this set more than any of recent memory in the last few years really reinforces color wheel strengths within the monocolored rares and mythics. I mean, Traveling Chocobo, Summon Titan, Summon Fenrir, the Water Crystal, Cloud, like all of these Sephiroth, like all of these cards, Vivi, all of these cards are just really straight down the line. These are what the Magic players who play these colors want. So this is I think similar to Lord of the Rings, where they kind of hit gold. They are lightning struck twice, where they're able to make a really good Magic card set that just also happened to get all of the nostalgia for people who are fans of the IP. I don't know how much more they'll be able to do this. If this is how it is going forward.
Right. You could be happy with it. I mean, one of the things from 2025, talking about Wizards' decisions in Universes Beyond, They said that if you can imagine this concept being a Magic card, we've already signed the contract. You know, like that's how deep they're going into Universes Beyond. Now, do they have someone from each IP coming in to be like someone to bounce ideas off? Hey, does this fit? Does this, how knowledgeable can they be about every single IP that they're creating Magic cards for? Obviously, when Universes Beyond becomes the majority of product created, which we'll talk about later, is when things in franchise players become upset. But this was one set where like you felt like the Lord of the Rings effect, where Lord of the Rings came out and I think everyone was pleasantly surprised, if not shocked, at how well it embodied the concepts of Magic the Gathering and how it didn't break the illusion. It didn't break immersion. The only thing that broke immersion with this set was honestly the scale of power. So like Vivi coming out broke parity immediately, was too powerful, was unbalanced. Even for this set, with how powerful this set is, Vivi was overpowered. Yeah. So, that was probably my only complaint about the set, is that like, while it did embody and never felt like it broke the immersion of Magic the Gathering, there were a couple cards that stood out that broke the competitive balance of the game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But talking about mechanics, is we got a little off track there.
Sure. Sorry.
Job select is you don't be sorry. That was awesome input on this. But job select is a card, or is an effect printed on very few cards. But what it does is when it's usually attached to an equipment, and when this equipment enters, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token, then attach this equipment to it, and then you get a varying effect based on the role that the equipment grants. So the thing that I think is interesting, especially with the outlook of 2026, is that the hero token creation is going to come into play when we talk about heroes in the Marvel sets and everything like that coming up. It's a creature type that will have greater impact. So Final Fantasy, you're not done with it, even though they've stopped selling packs and they've stopped printing the set. You're gonna continue to see Final Fantasy cards in your constructed formats because the hero creature type will become more impactful.
It's something similar to what we've gotten in the past. This is just a 4 Mirrodin variant.
Hey, I'm thinking living weapon.
Yeah. Instead of making a 2/2 angry guy or a 0/0 gross thing, it makes a 1/1 hero. So.
I get it. He's the living weapon thing because that was supposed to be, I recommended that name.
I was just saying it because of the mechanic.
Yeah. Yeah, right. We did get towns as well. If you've ever played any Final Fantasy game, you know that you have a starting town. Hey. On your adventure, but every town you go to is like a new environment, and they've sort of embodied that. Had some like effects that were, the more towns you had, the more powerful an effect was. So the more you journeyed, the more powerful you were. So starting town is obviously the most powerful of these, with the land subtype being town. This is so popular. I don't know why people are playing it in cEDH, honestly. There's so many 5-color lands that...
Yeah, I have not really understood why starting town is $20. I mean, I think it's just because of standard and stuff. Like it provides it's the only 5-color land in a lot of constructed formats that does what it does. But like... It's a card. If brass exists, I don't understand why we're...
Towns themselves might as well be like spheres, right? Or, they're not as strong as gates. There's not as much support.
Yeah. Gates can actually win you the game. Towns cannot. Yeah. And then we also have the tiered mechanic, which is essentially the spree mechanic, but you cannot choose more than one. So it did require a separate name. This tiered, it says choose one additional cost. So you pay the initial mana, and then as a cost, it's an additional cost to cast. So, you can counter this as, based on its original mana value. That will be relevant from time to time. So like for Restoration Magic, it's 1 white mana. If you pay nothing, target permanent gains hexproof and indestructible. If you pay 1 additional, target permanent gains hexproof, indestructible, and you gain 3 life. Jonky's feeding time. And then we have Kiraga, which is pay an additional 4 mana permanents you control, gain hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. You gain 6 life. So it's a scaling effect that is printed, like we said, on, it's Restoration Magic. There's Fire Magic, which is a very popular card in Standard, as it is essentially a board wipe the more you're able to tier it up. So
before we get off this set, I'm going to just really quickly say there's a large implication from this set that we haven't talked about yet, which is just that they attached an emblem creation to a creature. That is incredibly powerful and unprecedented. We have never had an emblem, especially one this powerful. Well, I mean, we've never had an emblem come off a creature.
Well, we've had dungeons come off a creature. We've had, little mini games
that you have to work on to get work. This, you transform once, boom.
Yeah, and you can flicker it and then get a second. You can get multiple emblems off of one creature if you're able to stack. And so Sephiroth, obviously a very powerful creature from the set. It can ruin a game on its own. And I say, I didn't mince my words there. It can ruin a game. Yeah, all right. Next set, let's move on. Final Fantasy, obviously awesome. The highest grossing set of all time. But we have Edge of Eternity, Spider-Man, and Avatar to get through yet. So, the Edge of Eternities, Edging for Eternity, had some really cool things. Planets, space stations, and the station mechanic in general. We got some of the most popular lands to be printed in a long time, with Evendo and Uthros coming out. Adagia, less played, but still very powerful if you can get that effect. And we brought charge counters back. So notably, when you station something, they get charge counters. So cards that were printed for Modern Horizons and stuff like that care about charge counters, it's like, and this cares about proliferation. So Staff of Completion, one of the mascots of this channel, like, please go buy that card. It's $3. It's so cheap and so good, especially with all the cards that have been printed lately. The station mechanic, we have the Eternity Elevator, super underplayed. It's also $1. It's, if you can get there, it wins the game. Susur Secundi, another of the station lands. Really, really great mechanic here. What it is you can tap a creature at sorcery speed to add charge counters equal to the creature's power. So once you reach a certain threshold based on what the card requires, written in the text on the side in a small dot, you can then gain additional effects. So there are a lot of really cool space stations. The Sarima, which allows you to search your library for a legendary creature. Dawnsire, which I still haven't seen anyone do the 100 damage thing.
I haven't seen it go off. I wanted it to.
Yeah. So any thoughts on stationing? I think this is probably the best mechanic from the set, or maybe outside the next one.
Yeah, I think if you're not playing cEDH, you need to find the planet land that fits in your deck and jam it in there.
Yep.
They're good. They're not cEDH good, but they're good.
Yeah, stations too. I think stations are being very undervalued right now, but the lands obviously are not. Anything where if you draw a dead card, you can do stuff on your turn to progress your game is huge. And these do that very well.
Yeah, like in mono black, you have Entropic Battle Cruiser, which is almost like it is based off of opponents' discards. So there's a lot of these cards fit into very niche strategies. So if you're playing a discard deck, you should be playing this card because it has evasion since it's just an artifact until you get to a certain point, and then it becomes almost overwhelming.
Yep.
So station, really cool mechanic, really hoping to see that return at some point in a Modern Horizons set, or obviously a return to the edging of eternity. So continue edging, my friends. We have landers, and this is a mechanic. We'll get to warp in a second, but landers I thought was a really great new type of token. We obviously have food tokens. We have clue tokens. Yeah. They're trying to do everything that is a basic print or basic concept in Magic the Gathering as a token right now, as an artifact token. So you can pay to tap it, search library for a basic land, put it onto the battlefield tapped. I wish this had more support.
I like it a lot, as we've been so inundated with treasure effects for the past 3-4 years now, ever since Ixalan and MH2. There's just been so many treasure strategies really forced through all of the precons and everything. It's nice to say, like, hey, maybe you actually want to play the long game. Maybe you don't want to get blown out when your stuff gets bounced to your hand, and you want to be able to use those tokens for something, you know. Also, you know, they stick around until you pop them, so, you know, you can use them for water bending.
Yeah, you can use them for water bending, and they count towards artifact counts. So things like Uthros become stronger if you don't want to pay the mana to search for the land, because Uthros just basically counts it as an additional land.
Yeah.
So, lander tokens, super cool. Want to see more of that. We have Warp. Now, this is the mechanic I imagine we'll want to at least chat about for a second. Yeah. This is a good mechanic. Rampage, take it away.
Yeah. Pro Warper here. The fact that you still get it. Typically, when you cheat a mana cost, it's pay mana cost, or if you paid this mana cost, you get this different effect that's either worse or better, whether you paid more mana or not, whether you foretold it or whether you sacked a creature in addition, right? Warp, you get both. You get it early and you get it late. And if you get the card early, you can play it early. And if you get the card late, you can play it. You know, they always function. And if you get it early and want to play it late, you can do both. You can cast it now and get it later. Modality. We love it.
This is like Adventures, but actually a little bit better.
It was also really, really, I thought from a design perspective, very cute within this set. Again, from having played this in limited, and for constructed uses as well. When you warp them in, you can use them to station because they can't attack.
Yeah,
and so you get to cast it and then station and then cast it again and station, and then your thing's online, and then the next turn you get to untap and attack with it and have your totally stationed planet. It's pretty insane. But yeah, Exalted Sunborn, obviously the far and away craziest one. Starfield, also a great card. What's the blue creature that's it's a dragon, right? It's played in a ton of stuff now. There it is. Oh, it's a Leviathan.
Oh, Starwinder.
Yeah,
it's like
that's not it either. What am I talking about?
No, this card sucks.
Yeah, no.
I was about to hear you out, but
no,
that card
definitely
sucks,
not
dude.
That card. Is it
Starfield Vocalist?
No. It's the card that says if you would draw a card while you have one or less cards in hand, you draw.
Oh, the Riddler, Quantum Riddler.
Quantum Riddler, man.
That's funny. It's not even on the first page of most popular cards.
First page?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's literally a modern. It's like a modern staple right now.
It's a modern staple right now. Yeah,
because it's better than.
It's crazy.
A lot of things.
It's a crazy card. Also, you know.
Did they ban? Oh, there it is. Yep.
Wow, like deep into the second page, behind like
the Dominion bracelet.
No one is playing those cards. Why is Quantum Riddler so low?
Who's building these decks?
Yeah. Quantum Riddler, probably the prime suspect for best warp effect. You pay 2 mana, it enters, and you get to draw a card at the very minimum. And if you have one or less cards in your hand, you would draw 2 cards. So it's a great exchange, and there's payoff for it being the last card in your hand. And as it sticks to the battlefield, you can also continue to draw 2 cards if you exhaust your hand. So
5-drop 4/6 flying that draws you at least a card when it enters is pretty good to just have on deck too, after cantripping.
Yeah, and Nova Hellkite became a really popular deck as well. Yep. If you guys have not seen Nova Hellkite, 5 mana, but it's a 3 mana warp, 4/5. When it enters, deal 1 damage to target creature an opponent controls. So you get to snipe. Yeah, and it has haste, so it can attack. This was the essentially the modern Goblin Chain Whirler. Like when Goblin Chain Whirler came out and it did 1 damage to each creature, that was enough to wipe so many different board states and change the tide of battle. And Nova Hellkite does something similar, except it hits way harder and has flying. So pretty good. Go ahead.
To wrap up the edging for Eternity, which we'll be back to, it's for Eternity. Yeah. We have Void, which cares about the warp mechanic. At the beginning of your end step, if a non-land permanent has left, super easy to do, or a spell was warped, you get a thing. You get some benefit. So it encourages this play style, but it isn't parasitic to it. Things leave land or tokens, leave your battlefield, that triggers this. That's a non-land permanent. You get the benefit. Yeah. So Void is very thematic and can be put into anything. The concern I have with Void, with Station, and even Warp to an extent is outer space. Like, Magic's been around for 30 years and this is our first time in outer space. Is it going to take another 30 to get there? How long is it going to take? 5-10 years before we go back
to see more things,
an outer space set and get to see this?
It's going to take a year.
Yeah. Well, the thing, I will say that I listened to the entirety of the story on audiobook. Oh, and it sucked. I'm sorry, writers of the story, if you're listening to this,
do better.
Stop reading your fantasy dollar store romance novels, because it literally was edging for Eternity. It just felt very charged.
You would tell me one scene from you. I'd
listen to it and then I would tell Owen
during this time, and he'd come over to my place. He'd be like, I listened to another chapter of The Edge of Eternity. I'd be like, what happened? He'd be like, she woke up from cyber sleep. She was in a coma, and she woke up to a bunch of insect people looking over her, and she just told them she was gay.
Yes, that was part of
what?
Yes, that was part of the story. It's
you didn't have other questions first?
No, and then the main protagonist of the story was just trying to find her cat the whole time, and it's like and then
Wattpad fiction.
Yeah, and then so the cat has the ability to warp, which by the way they never included a cat in this set. Miri was one, Miri, the legendary cat from Magic's history.
Wait, that's Miri?
Yes, was a creature in the story, was a pivotal point in the story, and they never included it as a card in this set. It still makes me mad.
We've been missing Miri for a decade.
Well, and then Miri would pop in and out of the story because they had the ability to warp.
Oh my God.
We still are missing Mary.
Yeah,
it warped so hard it missed the set. It warped out of the set. Where did it go? It's not. It's not on the card sheet.
Yeah. Yes.
It's out of the card sheet.
So that finally finds the cat, right? And then the cat goes, "I'm a cat. You can't find me," and then warps away from her after spending years searching for her, right? Years searching for Mary, finally finds her, and the cat goes, "I'm a cat," and warps away and has an existential breakdown in the story in the middle of a fight, and just sits there and cries, falls over on the battlefield, curls up in a ball, and just starts crying. It's this was good. This is good storytelling. I'm very entertained right now. Horrible stuff.
Back to Void real quick.
Jeez.
As we move on from this into Spider-Man,
which we're probably just going to skip. We're going to say,
can we at least talk about my favorite card design from the year?
Sure.
Guy in the chair.
Okay. Last thing on Void.
Who needed that card to be made?
Last thing on Void.
Wizards asked for that card to be made is all I want to know.
What's your thing on Void?
Okay. On Void, this is clearly something that they're setting up for very soon use. They have maybe more cards printed with the exact text of Void leading up to this set by a factor of 10 times than have Void in this set. The amount of cards in mono black already that say if a non-land permanent left. I feel like what they've been doing this year in all of these sets, Void, Flurry, right? They're just all of these things that didn't previously have had a keyword, but have been used throughout all of Magic's history. They're just they're collecting them. They're going through and they're like, this is going to be keyworded now. This is going to be keyworded now. This is going to be keyworded now. And I think what this suggests is that going forward, as they print these cards that are really designed for constructed, they're going to, I think put more of these on the same card. I think as we go forward, they're going to be like, all right, now this has void, this happens, and it's got landfall, this happens, and it's got this and this and this and this and this. I think when they go through and do this in a year, typically what you see is in the coming years, all of these effects just get stacked like Ward.
Yeah. They'll just continue piling up. They'll all have different names, but they'll all say whenever a non-land permanent leaves in some way. But set mechanic feeds off of this, and then non-land permanent leaving. Like Revolt. So, yes.
Definitely a setting the stage set.
All right. On our way to Spider-Man, we'll spend very little time here since the set was rather unspectacular. But
I get it. I see what you did. I get it.
I did it unintentionally, and then I realized what I did. Don't give me too much credit. All right. Spider-Man came out and went. It was very forgettable. It's probably the least popular set to ever be printed. Nobody has purchased less other than maybe Arabian Nights or what is it?
Fallen Empires.
Something like that. The set came out. It was designed not for limited play, but then they forced it into limited play, and a lot of people had a bad time.
Yep.
So there are obviously some notable cards: Guy in a Chair, and then
and a green for tap for add 1 mana.
Yes. But the thing is that everybody wants to build Green Goblin for some reason. Yes. And I think the card sucks. I think it is doing a lot of things that you can already do with more efficient pieces. And everyone wants to build around it in cEDH, but it's sorcery speed. Yeah, I don't know. The mayhem mechanic and stuff like that. Here, crucify me. The deck sucks. And there are better options out there, and you're trying to force something into being good that's not as good as other things that already exist. So, bada bing, bada boom. There we go. Spider-Man sucks. Green Goblin sucks. Move on with your life.
All right.
Sweet.
Ready?
Yeah, I mean, there's 4 relevant cards for Magic going forward in this set. And one of them is just a Soul Stone that I hate the implications of. The
Soul Stone is still out there. It costs $60 to get one, and it is probably the best legendary mana rock to be printed. We're going to see more Infinity Stones. The implications for the set are obviously huge because we have coming down the pipeline in 2026 a lot of Marvel stuff that's going to introduce all of the Soul Stones that have all different effects. I'm guessing they're all going to be mana rocks of some sort, and with varying costs. So there are some popular cards people like to use. Peter Parker's Camera. I wish they had printed this like they did in Arena, like they had the Into the Omen Paths or the Omen Paths alternate printings. I would rather have what's his name, Squee or Squirm, the thing that everyone flocked to. It's the Green Goblin variant. The Green Goblin variant. I would rather have those artworks than what we have here in a lot of cases, or the renamed cards as well.
Yeah. Peter Porker, I stand by it. If I sit down at a commander table, if you're listening to this and you don't like me, if I sit down a commander pod and somebody whips out Peter Porker or Spider Ham Peter Porker as their commander, I will leave. I will go home. I stand by this. I abide by this. I am never playing against Spider Ham Peter Porker. I refuse to do it.
Another thing that was very unclear about the set and its design is that these things like Green Goblin, Norman Osborn, they have the ability to transform on the front of them, but then you can also cast the backside there's no acknowledgement of that or no rules text for it or anything like that. But apparently you can just cast the Green Goblin side without anything. You know, like
Flash
doesn't make sense.
Since we're moving on from this mess anyway, update to that. There's been some spoilers from the upcoming Marvel sets. They're continuing to do this.
Yeah.
And some people have noted that the problem with this is that in some of the spoiled cards, like the Hulk, which was just spoiled, it's actually just broken. Because if the commander is like 1 or 2 mana and the transform is something, you're essentially cheating the commander tax, because you can always just cast it and then flip it versus paying the really expensive backside to cast. It's not like you have it's very weird. Also, I had to point this out to a player who literally built a Spider-Man deck.
Yeah.
They built a Spider-Man commander deck. Great player. I played with him a lot. He didn't even realize that you could cast the backside. And so he kept casting Peter Parker, the like Flash Spider-Man one, and then the Bant
and then
one.
trying to flip it.
Yeah, and then he's like trying to flip it. I was like, you can just cast the backside for like 2 more mana. He's like, oh.
This is like, this was like the most botched mechanic, I think, of the whole thing.
So weird.
Because it was never communicated. And then also what I thought was the reason for putting a mana value on the creature itself was to, 1, give it identity, and then 2, to have relevant things like, let's say, Fatal Push.
Yeah.
Like be a thing where it's like you can transform. Like you transform it and now it's a 4 mana value creature, and then the implications are different for certain effects. So that's what I thought it was, but in no way in all of it, in an explanation or the prelude to the set releasing, did they say, oh yeah, and you can cast the front or you can cast the backside. And then why would they include the transform effect? I don't get it. Anyway, the set sucks. Moving on. Avatar. This set was great.
We're gonna talk about this for a minute, aren't we? I'm strapped in. I'm prepared.
Okay. Well, it was good. We're done. This has been the MoxStars podcast.
Where Avatar exceeded is the same place where I felt Spider-Man fell. The mechanics we introduced here, the 4 of the bending mechanics we're gonna get into, felt like they fit in Magic, whereas web slinging and mayhem really didn't. When you do airbend, when you do earthbend, you're like, oh, I get that. We're transforming the earth. We're transforming the land. That makes perfect sense. Fire is temporary, and it's a big push of energy. Firebending, like they're rockable. They make sense. I get it. Spider-Man didn't have that. So yes, for this we have airbending, waterbending, firebending, and earthbending, and they've all made waves. We've talked about Avatar on this podcast ad nauseum. Like everything it does is so cool. We're continually finding new things that add to its coolness.
Wouldn't a cool channel name be Talking Ad Nauseum, and then it'd just be a cEDH podcast? Someone steal that. Someone steal that, please.
So we're renaming, but yeah, I mean, this. I think, like we said earlier, right? And I think you guys have already talked about it a lot on this podcast. But this tracks directly, just like Lord of the Rings, like they were able to do with Final Fantasy, which was more, I think, of a difficult thing to track, but they did track it directly to the color wheel. This one was basically plug and play. I mean, there's water bending, earth bending, fire bending, blah, blah, blah. It all works, and it tracked really well. Personally, and again, I know you guys have talked about a lot, but just my side here, I think all of the bendings were super underwhelming, except for earth bending, which felt stupid.
It's disgusting and broken.
It feels like all of these effects that they've kind of half baked lately, where there used to be a downside to doing things. Typically in Magic, you'd have to like pay resources or time or put yourself in a vulnerable position in order to gain advantage on the board or in your hand. And earthbending is one of those things where it's like, hey, I get a body, and if you kill it, I still get the land. Okay, yeah. Well, then you're circumventing any downside. Whereas, airbending, waterbending, there's no way to circumvent that downside.
It leaves, and then you have to recast it, and so it becomes vulnerable. It makes a lot of sense as why Bossing Say is one of the most popular cards from the set. Is because green historically has never had haste be part of the color pie, which is where I think they broke that color wheel a little bit here, and not even a little bit. I'll cycle back. They broke it a lot here with Earthbending, just giving the land, giving the creature haste. The new land creature haste is problematic, because where green decks used to falter is where you could wipe them. You could wipe the board, and then they would have to take a little bit of time to rebuild and establish board presence again before they could threaten the game. And now it's like, no, I can punish you, I can pressure you, and then when you get low enough and you finally have an answer where you can wipe my board and control the game, I don't think so. I have Bossing Say, so I'm gonna pay 3, tap it, and have a 2/2 with haste that has 0 downside, where it's like it comes out, it punches you, you try to kill it, and it's just like, nope, it comes right back. Next turn I'll pressure you the same exact way I just did.
Yeah, my other problem again with like what I said, and what Evan's talking about here, is just, now we live in a universe where we have Nisa like animating lands, and then you have earthbended lands, and then you have, there's Royal of Zendikar. You have all these things that animate lands historically that are played still in green. And now you're going to have those and earthbended lands, and you're going to have to keep track of which ones come back and which ones don't. I think I think whenever you get to a point where it's like, oh, I have copies over here, or I have this type of token version over here, it gets silly. And I don't think we're going to see earthbending come back. So, like all of these are only in this set. So
I'm sorry. There's another series in the Avatar universe that will, unfortunately, it will, if whether you like it or not, is going to get us. Yeah, they're going to make Korra.
They said that.
No, but they said, if you can imagine it, we've already signed the contract.
Well, you imagine
with how popular this was.
So
yeah. And what's the rule number 34 of the internet? If you can.
I don't think that's what that rule is. But unfortunately, I think Legend of Korra is an important part of that rule. Anyway, so I think, Bender's water skin definitely overvalued a little bit.
No, take that back.
It's not that good. It's really,
it's the best card in
who
the set.
needs untapped blue mana?
You weren't on the show yet when we talked about this.
I'm doing a silly.
Best card on the planet. No, I don't need any spoilers. I have made it to the 3rd book in Avatar.
Oh,
so,
you haven't? Oh my god!
Yeah, he hadn't watched it yet.
I've never watched it until the set came out.
Oh my god! So you're right now. You're in the 3rd book.
Yeah.
I just started.
The last Agni Kai will mean something completely different to you once you see it. Yeah. That's the other thing that's great about this set is we talk about immersion breaking or just being immersive in general for things like Lord of the Rings and Final Fantasy. I will say it is quite the feat to be able to turn a cartoon into something that is immersive in the Magic the Gathering world. Mostly because it is such a unique art style, and that they definitely created some new things like Bajamol Cub, which we didn't really have imagery for. We did a little bit in the show, but to be able to create something so powerful out of it, which, it's a card that didn't have, it's a character within the universe that had 0 impact on the story or anything. And then they're like, here's the most powerful green creature you've ever seen. But
I've been Avatar Wrathed now at a table twice.
Yeah.
And both times it really hurt. It was really a pain in the ass. I thought it wouldn't be. I had been blasphemous acted 4 times in that game as well, so it was just kind of a long game. But Avatar's Wrath is tough. Not being able to cast anything from anywhere other than your hand is brutal, especially if your commander wasn't cast yet and they airbended all of your rocks. Yep. You just sit there. You are guy in the chair for a turn. It is tough.
It's a really good board wipe right now.
Yeah, I see it staying that way. It's also, I just love it so much more than like Farewell, because you cast this card, you get what you want, which all white really wants is like 2 turn rotations to stabilize. That's all it ever wanted. That's all it ever wanted. And then it casts these cards like Wrath of God or Farewell. And then they're sitting there. And they're like, oh, I got to stabilize, but I also have nothing. And what this does is it says, instead of resetting the whole game, I'm going to get rid of all the tokens.
Yep.
And then I'm going to let you guys rebuild your boards at a fair pace without screwing you on mana, and give myself the turn rotations I need to stabilize. It's a really fair card, and it does something that white board rats historically haven't done, which it lets people come back into the game if you don't stabilize fast enough.
This
Very
is
cool.
This is one of those board wipes that I would deem cEDH viable. Like in the right control shell, you could stabilize the game. Like it is effective even at the highest level to say, until your next turn, your opponents can't cast spells from anywhere other than their hands. This turns off when you're winning on turn 3 or turn 4. If you can generate enough mana to fire this off, disrupt all of the board states and Badger Mode cubs that have already landed, or Birds of Paradise or whatever, push them back, make them overspend to return their permanents to the battlefield, and then also prevent anybody from going off with like an Underworld Breach for a turn or dropping their commander is such a great break in tempo.
Yeah.
That allows everyone to sort of gather their resources. And then once the game returns, you're returning to the game. People are willing. This is a board wipe that I would imagine that if it's consequential enough, people would fight to defend it and allow it to resolve. They would waste counter magic on it to allow it to resolve, to stabilize the game. So
yeah, that's what happened against me, because I was playing Sam and Frodo and I had a ton of food tokens. And
it's only hit creatures.
Yeah. But I need my creatures to make them work.
Yeah. Yeah.
And my creature tokens, which I had a lot of too. And so it's just like, oh yeah, we can let him have that, but now it doesn't work. And now he's got to wait. And the tempo loss is insane, you know?
It's like airbending is proving to be a rather powerful mechanic as well, especially with the Airbender Ascension and stuff like that. Waterbending now is a mechanic that I feel like doesn't get as much love as it, because it requires, this is the one where it's like, we talk about all the effects in Magic that require you to be vulnerable or require you to generate additional advantage or generate artifacts in addition to be able to get these effects, to get these massive payoffs. But Spirit Water Revival obviously is a card that we really like here at the MoxStars podcast. So 1 and 2 blue is an additional cost to cast a spell. You may waterbend for 6. If you do, you get to Time Twister essentially for yourself, not anybody else. So, and you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. If you don't waterbend, you get to draw 2 cards and that's it. It's amazing. It's still a 3 mana draw 2 that has upside. It exiles itself, so you can't really, Shiko it, which is a bummer because it would have been really good in Shiko.
What's the other thing? The thing that, you can still discard it and do that. But what's the one that you waterbend? Is it 10? You get an extra turn.
Oh, that's the.
I'm starting to see that get played a little bit. Which
it's the saga with Avatar.
No, it's not a saga for that you get an extra turn.
Yep. Yeah, it flips into a waterbender.
Oh, there's that guy.
Yeah,
there's also a spell. There's also a spell. I think it's blood. Oh, bloodbending.
Yeah.
It's not.
You control.
It's Mindslaver. Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. Which is crazy to put in blue.
Yes. Yeah, to give blue something like that is pretty nice. Any thoughts on waterbending, Rampage?
Just building off of yours, like waterbending, I think feels the most fair. Like it's the hardest to abuse. I think they thought about it. Like these are really big numbers we're seeing. They're like, Commander players are going to be able to do something stupid with waterbend 2, so we're going to make it waterbend 8. We're going to make it waterbend 10.
Yeah.
Like they had that forethought, and they did a great job with it. And hence it feels fair because everything else feels unfair,
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not weak, but it is the weakest.
Yes. Compared to something like firebending, which if you are, building a firebending deck, obviously this can get like firebending can be crazy. We talked about Avatar Roku having a pseudo firebending effect and adding so much mana But then like you do have things like Firebending Student, which breathes new life into mono red constructed decks. Firebending X, or X is this creature's power, and then it has prowess. You have Firebender Ascension, which allows you to get double triggers on your Firebending if you are able to, whenever a creature you control attacking causes a triggered ability, you put a quest counter on it, and then once you have 4 or more, so attacking with multiple creatures that have firebending puts multiple counters on this in a single combat. And so if you stack it, which I've seen it come down in one turn, and then people trigger it the entire, like, get all 4 quest counters on it in one combat. Back to airbending a little bit, we do have Appa Steadfast Guardian, which has also been a combo machine in standard. Apparently there's some strange combos with that. But yeah, firebending is an awesome mechanic that you get to see some really cool things, like Sozin's Comet, which is a mythic from the set. 5 mana. Each creature you control gains firebending 5, and you can foretell it for 3.
I just don't. Firebending seems the least impressive to me.
Well, you gotta have a payoff for it, and so like, what is your payoff? That's kind of up to the wheeler. So it is very niche.
It's weird. There's no real payoffs within this. It's like, you got to have something in combat. Great Divide Guide's crazy, by the way. It's just really good fixing.
Really good card.
Like really good fixing. Crazy that it's a 2/3 for 2 that taps for one color and fixes all of your mana. That's just like, that is nuts. That's unprecedented. Like, Bloom Tender is like a card that has defined mana fixing for years, and this is the same mana, basically better.
It's also a dork, since it gives all allies add 1 mana.
So I'm saying it's like nets 1 instead of netting up to 3, and what a Bloom Tender does, it fixes your mana. It's a chromatic lantern. It's crazy.
5 minutes of screen time.
The cool thing is I'm fine. Okay, so with firebending, I'm finally seeing Fated Firepower be a 1-shot machine, like in Constructed, which is very exciting. This is one way to pay off your firebending. It's X and 3 red. It's an enchantment with flash that enters with X fire counters on it. And then if a source you control would deal damage to an opponent, or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage plus the number of counters on this enchantment. So really cool to be able to focus all of your firepower into this enchantment. I think it's a really cool enchantment. All right. Earthbending. This is obviously the most powerful mechanic. We talked about it a little bit up front, about Badger Mole Cub being the single greatest green creature to pretty much ever exist. It's changing what turn 3 means in a lot of decks, in a lot of constructed formats. Turn 2 and turn 3, it's the difference between, in the past, you could have 3 mana on turn 2 in a lot of green decks with like Land War Elves, right? Badger Mole Cub makes it so you have 4 or 5 potentially, and then on turn 3 you have potentially 8 or more mana. And so I've seen Crater Hoofs come down on turn 3 before in standard, which is kind of insane. Badger Mole Cub allows for that. It's a really great card. It turns a lot of decks, just itself in green decks in Commander. It boosts so much because you're already playing probably 6 or 7 dorks in general, and then it's just like, oh yeah, this is Kinnan but not legendary. So multiple copies of this even make for an even stronger effect. So every time you tap a dork, you're going to get an additional green, and then if you're able to create multiple Badger Mole Cubs or create copies of them, especially in standard where you have 4 ofs, you play 1 and then you tap the land you just animated and then cast another one the following turn, you're going nuts. So it's a really crazy effect. I wish they just put it on the original Badger Mole, like the 5 mana one, because then it would be balanced.
Yeah, but then it wouldn't get played.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't get played.
I want to play the good card.
Yeah, I want to play the 2 mana one that breaks everything. But Earthbending in general has been the most powerful of all these mechanics. Toph, the first metal bender, is also
Mind Slaver.
Yeah, yes, you can Mind Slaver people continuously with Toph. At the end step, go ahead and earthbend that Mindslaver and go ahead and activate and start wreaking havoc and making people hate you. But yeah, earthbending in general, Boomy Unleashed, also really good. You know, it just gets crazier the more you read these earthbending cards.
Talk about spoilers. I've been watching Avatar and I gotta look at Buff Boomy standing there and I'm staring at an old guy on my screen.
Yeah. He rips off the cloak and you're like, yep.
I got it. Yeah.
Now I get it.
Watching Avatar for the first time and being like, when does he get unleashed? Oh, look at this guy. I wonder.
Oh,
do you think he's going to be unleashed this episode or the next one?
I'll say unleash him soon.
Yeah, there's a black sun behind
like
him.
Yoda.
I wonder what day that is.
You're watching A New Hope. You're like, you just have the Dooku fight in your head. You're like, what? He could.
Yeah, when's he going to do that thing with the flipping?
He should bust that out.
Yeah. There's obviously a lot of really good earthbending, even in the instants and sorceries, like Seismic Sense. And look at the top X cards, the X number of lands you control, and then reveal a creature or land card. It doesn't have anything to do with earthbending, just thematically does. And then
the Redirect Lightning is insane.
Yeah, Redirect Lightning is the most popular card from the set as defined by Scryfall.
For good reason.
Yeah, you can pay 5 life to change. You can pay 1 red mana and then pay an additional 5 life, or pay 2 additional color or generic mana, change the target of target spell or ability with a single target. As soon as this was spoiled pretty early on in the set, like this started seeing cEDH play. Yep. I'm not sure if it still does. It is a counter spell, essentially. Deflecting SWAT does similar things, except Deflecting SWAT has a wider berth, or has a wider range. Yeah. So Redirect Lightning is pretty great. Any final thoughts on Avatar or 2025 in general, fellas? Obviously, this is a long episode, but I don't feel like we had too much filler other than maybe Ether Drift.
Well, that was filler that was served to us. So,
yeah.
No, I think often we get on and we look and we analyze, and this really made me appreciate. We got a lot of good this year. We got a lot of cool stuff. Things I have yet to explore or would like to explore more.
Yeah.
So I've been a big fan. I am excited for the next year. We can be universes beyond naysayers as much as we want, but sometimes we get cool stuff.
Yep. Yeah, we do get cool stuff. I'm happy with it. And then outside of a few things, you can go back in the episode and see which things I was unhappy with, but it gives me a little bit of hope. Obviously, we want to see in 2026 the IPs that are original to Magic the Gathering. We want to see those stand above and stand separately from these Universes Beyond sets. And obviously the Universe Beyond stuff brings new players in. So we're happy to have you. We're happy to have you join the MoxStars community. New players who got brought to the game by these sets. We're more than happy to talk about them, expand on them, all those things. But we're really excited for Lorwyn. We're really excited for
I'm very excited.
Strixhaven. And then there's another Lord of the Rings set coming this year. And then Reality Fracture, which no one knows anything about. But then we have Star Trek on the horizon. So there are some really dumb sets. I'm going to say they're dumb right away. We haven't even seen them, how immersive they are or anything like that. But Marvel superheroes.
I made the comment earlier about it's going to be 10 years before we see Warp again.
Yeah. Oh, hey.
Nope.
You were saying, you're like, all these space things, when are they going to do it? See, I thought it was going to be Star Wars right away, but it makes sense.
Wrong.
Well, we're going to get a Star Wars. I'm sorry, but we're going to get a Star Wars Secret Lair on at MagicCon in Vegas this year. Mark my words.
They said that last year.
Well, no, but this one is happening on it's
on May 4th. I know.
Yeah. So we're gonna see it.
They didn't hide it very well.
No. So yes, Magic in 2026. A lot of Universes Beyond IPs coming, and Mark Rosewater has said, if you can imagine it, it's on its way. So We'll see what that means in its totality. Probably over the next 3 years, they probably have things down the pipe. Lord of the Rings was a set in development for over 5 years. So there's a decent chance that we are still going to be seeing tons of universes beyond product and less in-universe product over the next 4 to 7 years until people quit enough to warrant them changing.
It's not happening anymore. No. At this point, you got to embrace the Fortnite-ification of everything you love, baby.
Yeah,
that is the world we live in.
It's capitalism, baby.
Gonna get everything is branded by a thing that makes the thing that you're eating that's already another thing.
Yeah,
that's it.
Well, on that rather depressing note, we cherish your viewership here at the MoxStars podcast. If you'd like to support the show, you can do so by finding us on YouTube, where you can like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more notifications. You can also find us on all podcasting platforms. Leaving us a 5-star review helps new listeners find the show. You can also support us on Patreon. By becoming an official Pepperhead, you can support the show for $3 a month, have your name turned Dr. Pepperhead on the Discord server. Also, join the Discord server, jump in there, join the community, start a discussion. We're all fairly active on there, and so willing to chat about pretty much anything except for anything that Will Rule has to share. Apparently, we just ignore that guy. Any deck lists that come from him, we ignore those. We love him. He's my brother. So just had to acknowledge that. You can also purchase tokens from us. We have the sickest tokens in all of Magic the Gathering. Don't believe me? Jump on the Discord server, check out the images. We have high res full images of those tokens. I mean, Rampage has them on screen. I will do my best to put some on screen as we speak about them. The Goblin is so sick.
Good. The foiling. As somebody, I was born into Magic in Call Time, so I was pretty scarred when it comes to foiling on cards. I've been anti-foil for quite some time.
Yes.
These might have changed me. Look, oh, gorgeous.
Yeah. They're unreal, and Death Milk Designs does a great job on them. All right, any final thoughts, fellas, on 2025? Last chance.
2026. We are not going to stop moxing. We're not going to stop starring.
Correct.
That's what I want to end on.
We will be here, whether it's 1,000 subscribers, 608 subscribers, 4 subscribers. If 604 of you leave us, we'll still be doing it.
We'll still be 3 guys in chairs.
And yes, and just a reminder, this is not a parody. Who's signing us off today? It's me! We're out of here! Peace!